I took a 2-month break from Eden Zero, and apparently now the manga is officially ending. Yes, after this chapter, chapter 288, Eden Zero will have 5 more chapters before it officially concludes. And based on how this chapter ended, we are most definitely going to be wrapping up really soon. But this doesn't mean that Mashima might not throw a curveball at us within these next few chapters before he finishes things off. Now, I know you're all wondering why I just decided to pop back in and do Eden Zero reviews. As I said previously, it was being too much, and I wasn't able to keep up with doing reviews at a good pace. Well, the manga's ending, and I'm gonna regret not covering this series during its final section. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to cover Eden Zero for the last 5 chapters, including this one, and see how things go and conclude. I might make a whole video at the end of the day about what I think about Eden Zero as a whole, but for now, we'll just get right into chapter 288 of Eden Zero. But before we get into things, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. It's gonna be really weird with Eden Zero being gone, but let's see what happens. But on with the chapter. Chapter 288 of Eden Zero, titled If We Could Be Friends. And the chapter starts off where last week left off, with the chronophage, which is most likely an evil future Rebecca, is beginning to launch an attack with enough energy to create a freaking big bang. As we get closer and closer inside the chronophage to see the battlefield where Shiki is facing off against the chronophage's core. And Shiki is being blown back by the sheer energy that this person is created. She says that she's going to generate enough energy equal to the birth of the universe, and then as everything gets destroyed, a new universe will be created as well. So she is literally capable of creating the Big Bang, destroying the current universe in order to create an entirely new one. If this isn't universal, I don't know what is. But Shiki tells her not to, saying that's not gonna help her and that she won't be saved. But she states that she doesn't seek salvation. But Shiki says yes, she does. She does want to be saved, as he heard her saying that she wants her time back. But the chronophage states, my time is not coming back. But Shiki says no, there has to be a way. You have enough power to make it happen. So stop doing this. You have to save Mother, please. As we all remember, Shiki came up with a plan to essentially tell Mother to disappear and basically stabilize the current Universe Zero timeline where things have been relatively good. All of his friends are still alive, and a lot of people have gone through better tracks of life, but in turn it would make the universe lose all its energy and everybody would die out many, many years later. But by returning Mother to her Earth form, with the power of the chronophage's ability to eat time, Mother would eventually be re-overdrived again, thus repowering the universe as a whole. So again, I still stand by the fact that's a good plan. It all hinges on the chronophage doing this. So as Shiki is being pushed back by the Force, asking for her to save Mother, she states how many times that she's basically devoured Mother, and states that it's an unusual planet. She eats it, returns it to the planetary form, then becomes Mother all over again. Now there's no idea how many times this happened in the past, but by how she's casually bringing this up shows that she's done it multiple times and it hasn't really changed anything. Shiki pleads with her to try and do it one more time, promising her that they'll find a way to save her too. But she just says she's not interested, as she begins to pour out even more power as the core of the chronophage begins to shine brightly, as the energy begins to crumble away nearby planets. But Shiki pulls back his arm, saying, in that case, I'll make you interested. And in that instance, the energy coming out from the chronophage is being pulled right to Shiki into his hand, surprising the chronophage, wondering how that's even possible, and that her power is falling right into Shiki. As Shiki states, that's the power of gravity. And yeah, before anyone says anything, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be someone that says it in the comments, Shiki's gravity is capable of doing this. He's on multiple occasions been able to pull things towards him, whether it be memories of a past universe or even energy. Heck, Ziggy was able to literally make someone else's ether gear fall into him and literally make it his own. So the fact that Shiki is able to pull in a large amount of energy with his gravity powers to make it fall into him, this is not an ass pull, and it makes perfect sense with what we know about Shiki's abilities and what we've seen in the story. So yeah, Shiki is using his gravity powers to basically pull in all of the Big Bang energy that the chronophage is generating, as she goes on to say that absorbing that much energy will destroy Shiki's flesh. And we do see it literally hurting him from the inside out, as he says, so what if this will do this to my body? I don't care. Even if it costs me my life, I will save this universe. This is the universe that has all my friends. And I love this panel. I love this page. It is so raw and really showcases just the intensity in this one moment as Shiki pulls in the literal Big Bang into his body. The chronophage lunges at Shiki to try and fight back, saying that he's just a lowly human. And with an image of Shiki literally burning up from the energy and trying to acclimate it into his body, she says, "I will tear you to pieces," as Shiki clutches his fist, saying this lowly human is going to change the world, as he alters the gravity within the chronophage's area, making her float in mid-air, dumbfounding her. As then Shiki appears right above her, charging up his ultimate magic attack, Black Sky, as he then lands it right onto her, as we see a full-on blow of the Black Sky being penetrated right into the ground, causing a massive explosion, with the next page being a 2-page spread of Shiki pushing the chronophage square through the ground that was within the body as he pushes forward. Using his gravity at full power, we then see that the chronophage is making a beeline straight towards Mother, as Shiki in that instance is utilizing his gravity to pull the chronophage towards Mother, to make it fall in that direction with gravity. As Rebecca, Pino, and Ziggy notice the chronophage heading towards Mother, saying that Shiki did manage to get the chronophage there. But Ziggy tells him, "We can celebrate later, that thing's gonna eat us too, we gotta book it." As the chronophage heads towards Mother, Shiki, holding it together with its gravity, prying its jaws open to eat Mother's time, says, "You know, I think I can be friends with you too," with a wholesome smile on his face, as the chapter ends with the chronophage eating Mother's time, reverting her back to planet Earth as the chapter ends. Okay, this was honestly a pretty decent chapter. While this fight could have gone on another chapter longer, and heck, there's always the possibility that this fight will extend another chapter or two. This might not even be the full conclusion. I'm fine with it being the conclusion right now, as it makes sense for Shiki to do what he just did, and utilized his gravity in what he would normally use it in just a larger scale. And the final impact, him using Black Sky, breaking through the ground on a chronophage and using his gravity to defeat the chronophage's core and lunge it towards Mother, I think it was perfect. Now, as for chapters beforehand that I missed, I do think that the fight between the chronophage and Shiki as a whole, very fun, very cool, very intense. Even though it was short, it was definitely the best fight outside of Ziggy versus Void in the Universe Zero arc. While I will say that the fights in this arc weren't as bad as people say they are, they were the weakest fights in comparison to Eden Zero as a whole. And there were fights that I just flat out did not like. Cure's fight comes to mind. That fight was embarrassing. But hey, Jin got a W. I'm fine with it. It was the worst fight of this arc. But yeah, the chronophage seemingly was defeated. With how the chapter ends, she doesn't seem to have made a big finishing blow, so most likely get up next chapter. Whether or not there'll be some sort of resolution in the next chapter, I got no clue. But I hope something happens involving Rebecca. She hasn't had this big grand moment in the final arc that even Lucy had a big final moment. It wasn't a final fight, but it was a big moment that helped her, just helped things at the very end of the day. So I kind of hope Rebecca comes in and does something involving the chronophage and Shiki to make things tie together in a nice neat bow. But yeah, we have 5 more chapters left in Eden Zero. I do see it ending within these next 5 chapters. There's always the possibility of Void making a return somehow. There's always the possibility of the chronophage getting back up and fighting again. We don't really have any real guarantees, and there's always a chance that Mashima in these next 5 chapters, since there are 5 chapters left, will probably throw us some sort of emotional curveball to hit us in the feels, some way, shape, or form, or even a last-minute plot twist for all we know. Either way, I enjoyed this chapter. I've been enjoying these last couple of chapters, despite the Arashio and Sace being disappointed at the end of the day, and Void getting defeated, which I think the ending was fine. This whole section with the chronophage has just been really great, and I loved the whole backstory of the Shining Stars and Mother. I thought it was perfect, and anything's off with the chronophage, something that's been around the story since like chapter 6, I believe, of the mainline story, just feels right, tying it in with all the foreshadowings with Mother and the connections, and bring everything back in a nice, neat way. But that's enough out of me. I cannot wait for the next chapter to see how things play out in the future. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this chapter and this whole fight with the chronophage and even the final arc as a whole. Did you like it? Did you think this fight was disappointing, or do you think that this was a relatively good fight, especially in terms of Universe Zero? Let me know in the comment section down below, and how do you feel realistically this arc will end with these next 5 chapters? Let me know. Eden Zero means a lot to me, and it's a real shame that it's going to be ending so soon, but I cannot wait to stay here and be with you guys till the very end. And again, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be updated whenever I upload next, if you want to see me review and talk about these last couple of chapters up until the ending of this really nice series that we all come to enjoy. With all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.